These are images of days of defiance, Chinese riot police with sticks, cars set on fire, protesters throwing rocks. Foreign journalists are not free to travel to Tibet, so information is scarce. But human rights groups say Chinese security forces have surrounded the three main temples outside the capital Lhasa, and more than a dozen monks have been arrested.
In the morning, when the monks from the Rinpoche temple on the north side of Lhasa, they started a peaceful demonstration. They were blocked by the People's Armed Police. Later on, a scuffle started between the police and the monks. And eventually, they were joined by a bystander.
And the protests are spreading. This is Gansu province, home to a large number of Tibetans. Activists say about 2,000 demonstrators risked jail to fly the Tibetan flag while calling for an independent Tibet.
And this has been the nightmare scenario for China for some 20 years. They've been trying to avoid protests triggering off major unrest among lay people.
By some accounts, the demonstrations in Lhasa are every bit as violent as 20 years ago, when Buddhist monks clashed with Chinese troops. The demand then, the same as now: greater independence, more religious freedom. The target of their anger this time appears to be Chinese-owned businesses and ethnic Chinese. Hundreds of thousands of people moved into Tibet by the Chinese government. The exiled Dalai Lama has accused Beijing of an economic and social policy intended to marginalize Tibetans in their own land. Their policy of population transfer has increased many times, reducing native Tibetans to an insignificant minority in their own country, His Holiness said on Monday, marking the 49th anniversary of a failed uprising against Chinese rule, which appears to have been the spark for the latest protests. The protests are clearly an attempt to embarrass the Chinese government ahead of the Summer Olympics. On Thursday, the Foreign Ministry said the uprising was under control and the work of just a few monks. A day later, and we were told this is now a domestic matter. John Vos, CNN Beijing.